Once upon a time, there was a small town nestled deep in the woods. The town was called Pine Hollow, and it was known for its picturesque beauty and quiet serenity. But something sinister lurked beneath the surface of Pine Hollow, something that the townspeople had been hiding for years. Legend had it that a group of settlers had founded Pine Hollow back in the 1700s. They built their homes and started families, but soon they began to notice strange occurrences in the woods. They would hear whispers in the wind and see strange figures darting through the trees. Some even claimed to have seen ghosts wandering through the town at night. The settlers tried to ignore the strange happenings, but they only grew more frequent and more terrifying. It wasn't long before they realized that something was very wrong in Pine Hollow. They tried to leave the town, but it seemed that the woods themselves were trying to keep them trapped there. One day, a young girl named Emily disappeared from the town. Her parents searched high and low for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Some say that they heard her screams echoing through the woods that night. After that, more and more people began to disappear from Pine Hollow. The townspeople knew that they were being hunted by something dark and evil, but they didn't know what it was or how to stop it. To this day, Pine Hollow remains abandoned. No one knows what happened to the settlers who once lived there, but some say that the spirits of the town's lost souls still haunt the woods, waiting to prey on any unsuspecting travelers who dare to venture into the darkness. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every time I walked into my apartment, I felt like someone had been there while I was gone. But nothing was ever out of place, and I couldn't find any evidence to support my suspicions. One night, I woke up to the sound of someone whispering my name. I jolted upright in bed, but the room was empty. I tried to shake it off as just a dream, but as I tried to fall back asleep, I heard it again, a faint, raspy voice calling my name. I got out of bed and turned on the lights, but there was no one there. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. But then, something caught my eye, a small slip of paper lying on my nightstand. It had just one sentence scrawled on it in messy handwriting: "I'm still watching you." My heart raced as I frantically searched my apartment, but there was no sign of anyone. I tried to tell myself it was just a prank, but I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. That was the beginning of the end. The whispers continued every night, and I started to see strange figures lurking in the shadows. I knew I had to leave that place, but I couldn't escape the feeling that I was being followed. The last thing I remember is running through the dark streets, hearing footsteps behind me, and then nothing. I woke up in a hospital bed, my head pounding and my memory fuzzy. The doctors told me I had been found unconscious on the street, with no signs of trauma. But I knew the truth: something had been watching me, and it had finally caught up with me. Now, I can't shake the feeling that it's still out there, waiting and watching. And I know, deep down, that I'll never be truly safe again. As the days passed, I couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Every night, I would hear strange noises coming from my closet, and when I opened it, I would find nothing. I started to have nightmares of the same dark figure, except this time it was closer to me, its eyes glowing red and its smile wider. One night, I woke up to find my closet door wide open, and the dark figure standing in the doorway. It started to move towards me, its arms outstretched, and I couldn't move or scream. It felt like an eternity before I woke up, drenched in sweat, and realized it was all just a dream. But was it really? As the days went on, the strange occurrences in the house began to escalate. Sarah would hear voices whispering her name when she was alone, and objects would move by themselves. The doors and windows would open and close on their own, and the temperature in the house would suddenly drop. Even her pets seemed to sense that something was wrong, as they would stare intently at empty corners of the room and growl or hiss. One night, Sarah woke up to find that she was no longer alone in her room. A figure stood at the foot of her bed, staring at her with glowing red eyes. Its face was distorted and twisted, and it emanated an aura of pure malevolence. Sarah screamed and tried to run, but her body wouldn't move. She was paralyzed with fear as the figure drew closer, reaching out a cold, bony hand towards her. Suddenly, Sarah felt a surge of energy within her, and she managed to break free of the paralysis. She grabbed a nearby crucifix and held it up, and the figure shrieked and vanished into thin air. From that night on, Sarah never saw the figure again, and the strange occurrences in the house gradually subsided. But Sarah never forgot the terror that she had experienced in that house. She moved away and never looked back, but the memories haunted her for the rest of her life. And every time she heard about someone moving into the old house on the hill, she couldn't help but wonder if they would be haunted by the same malevolent entity that had terrorized her so many years ago.